Hi there, my name is Alan Stockdale. I'm from Escape the Prison Matrix. I just want to make a quick broadcast today. Normally I have my co-host with me, Paul Massey, but unfortunately can't make it today. So I just thought instead of missing out until after Christmas, New Year, I thought I'd just put a little one out myself. And the subject I'm picking today is quite festive, topical, because it is actually the real meaning of Christmas. And as I've recorded on this, it's the 23rd of December 2014, so I thought I'd make a quick video stroke blog, just basically explaining where the traditions come from, where it all started, why you do the things you do over Christmas. Just to educate yourself, just to let you know that there is other meanings to these things. It's not just going out buying presents. It's nice to know where all the traditions come from. So basically I just want to start off with sort of Nimrod, and that's going back to the Egyptian times. Now the reason we talk about these gods etc. is because these were all born on the 25th of December. So even though Jesus was, according to modern day nativity, was born on the 25th of December, there's nothing in the Bible at all that mentions that date anywhere. It's just been transfixed onto these pagan rituals that go back to the Egyptian times and before. Now it started off with Saturn worship, which is Saturnalia, and basically there was a guy in Egypt called Nimrod, and he married his mum, of all things. Nice guy, as you can imagine, and he celebrated and worshipped the Saturn gods. Now basically what happened to him is he got killed and he got chopped up into little pieces, apparently, and his mum, his wife, was absolutely distraught at this. Now according to the story, the legend, he ascended then into heaven, and he actually became the sun god. Now believe it or not, what actually happened after this, obviously it's not a sort of excuse you're going to believe off your daughter if she ever come back and say she got pregnant by the sun, but the rays of the sun apparently supposed to have impregnated his mum, and they had a baby called Tammuz. Now Tammuz then was the baby that was born on the 25th of December. Now his mum believed that this was a reincarnation of his spirit, basically. Now as you can see there's a sort of similarity between the sun coming from the Son of God, the sun, getting her pregnant. It wasn't physical, it was all via light, so you can see an analogy there between the Son of God. Anyway, what happened then is, obviously, he was born on the 25th of December, this Tammuz, and the Saturn cult carried on sort of worshipping him, basically. And what they did is, to celebrate his birthday on the 25th of December, they basically had riots and murder, mayhem, rapings. There was basically no law and order whatsoever, and it all culminated then with swapping to some presents. Now this went on, obviously, as time goes by. There's other religions, other parts of the world, we've got different gods, all born mysteriously on the 25th of December. They've got the Egyptian sun god Ra, and then you've got the Roman sun god Mithra. Now this is very interesting, the Mithra one, because this is basically what modern day Christmas really starts to come from, is this. The Romans, for instance, they used to sacrifice to Jews on the 25th of December. This was their lovely way of celebrating their cult, their sun cult, by basically sacrificing Jews. Now over here, the Greeks, they said that Zeus was born on the 25th of December. Once again, this one day keeps coming up over and over again, 25th of December. All these different parts of the world, all different gods, all supposedly born on this day. And basically what happened then is, it sort of progressed through time, and it's all based on, all these cults, by the way, are all based on the winter solstice. Obviously the 25th of December is right after few days after the winter solstice, where it's the darkest part of the year, and these pagans, these people wanted to celebrate the darkness going, going back to summertime, the light time, and therefore that's why they had these rituals to appease their so-called gods, to make sure that obviously they went back into the lighter days by appeasing the gods. And they all did it in all the different ways, but basically it was all the same sort of rituals. It was all very sadistic, very bloodthirsty. For instance, we go to Rome, right? What they did, they actually had the entire month, all the courts, they had the time off. So anybody could go out, rape, pillage, murder, paedophilia. It was all legalised. There was nothing against the law. You could do it to your heart's content in that month, because we're all part of this celebration. So that's in the Roman times. Excuse me. And obviously then as the Romans came over to England and invaded us, they brought all these celebrations with them. So before that we didn't celebrate it in this way with the blood and sacrifice. It was the Romans that brought over the sort of Saturn cult worship, Mithra god, and all that. And then that's where it started in England. All the paganism started with the worship on the winter solstice time for that. And also there's other parts of the world what brought different aspects to Christmas as we know it. For instance, the Scandinavian Norsemen, they brought the part about the Yule, celebrating the god Yule. Now this is where the Yule log comes from. So you've got the 12 days of Christmas. What this actually is what they used to do in the Scandinavian Norsemen, and this also got brought over to our country as well. They used to chop down a huge log, they used to set it on fire, and this log had to be big enough to burn for 12 days, and every one of those days they had to make a sacrifice to their Yule god. It was either an animal or it was a human. Either way, there had to be a blood sacrifice burnt on the log every day for 12 days. This was to appease their god, basically. So, just to make you aware, when you're having your chocolate log, when you're setting it afire, that's exactly what that represents, sacrificing people or animals. So it just makes you think, yeah, do I really want to go out and buy a chocolate log, apart from the fact that you want to eat a chocolate log and it tastes nice? That's fair enough. But there's a meaning behind it, and the reason why these things have happened over the thousands or hundreds and thousands of years is basically you're going out there doing things you don't realise, and you're giving power and your energies to these negative forces out there, but not knowing it, not realising it. So that's why I'm doing this, to sort of try and tell people exactly what it is. Not telling you not to have a good time over Christmas, not to celebrate. That's fair enough. I will be with my wife, but I'll be doing it my own way, and I won't be giving my energies to them for the negative aspects of what it all is. I mean, for instance, these Scandinavian Norsemen, they used to get this wooden log and they used to make it in the shape of a phallic symbol, so basically a huge penis, and set it on fire. So I don't think many will be doing that in the middle of your living room this year, will you? With a huge wooden penis on fire. But you never know, it takes all sorts. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So you've got the Romans doing that, they've shut down the courts, raping and pillaging. You've got your Yule log, that's for the Scandinavian Norsemen, that's what they brought into it. And then this went on for hundreds of years, basically. And when the Roman Church is basically trying to bring it to their religious ends, and what their doctrine, what they want to try and bring onto the world, they realised that this paganism was just too strong. It was the urges to do these things was ingrained for too long, basically. So what they tried to do is they tried to hijack the pagan festivals, and especially the Christmas one, and introduce it into their Christianity. So therefore, according to the Bible, Jesus was born, doesn't say when, but all of a sudden they say he's born on the 25th of December, which doesn't make any sense when you consider the stories behind it. When it was actually supposedly born, there was shepherds tending the sheep in the fields, which they wouldn't be doing in the middle of winter anyway. And there's numerous other things in the Bible that basically just disprove that it was December. So basically these guys in the Vatican just decided that, well, we can't beat the pagans, so why not hijack their celebrations and bring them into our own? And that's what they did. That's what they did. So basically, instead of worshipping the God in the sun, it became the Son of God. And that's where the term comes from. And this went on for a long time. And obviously over time, because of the way they was introducing it into their doctrine, it went away and it became more Christ Mass. So instead of all the religions of Saturn worship, of Mithra, Ra and all that, it became Christ Mass. And that's what happened. But, unfortunately for the Roman Church, they couldn't stop the paganistic rituals. So people were still going out and still doing the raping and murdering and pillaging for, well, 12 days, depending on which ones are celebrated over Christmas. And it got to the point, actually, in 1652, when Charles I was executed, that they finally outlawed Christmas. And they made it unlawful, illegal, whatever you want to call it, to celebrate Christmas because of this. But once again, it lasted for 4 years. There was an uprising. King Charles II, he reinstated himself as the royalty, the monarchy, back onto the throne. And that was after 4 years, just 4 years of not being able to rape and pillage all for the Christmas celebrations, and he brought it back. And basically, this happened. I've just like I said, just after 4 years. So these urges, where they come from this celebration, from this Saturn cult, what's turned into all the other cults from that, it's all bloodlust, and it's really ingrained, really ingrained in humanity for quite a long time. And it got to the point where in 1659, the colonists that left England to go to the United States, one of the biggest reasons they went over there, and they went over there as Puritans, because they wanted to be able to go and celebrate their religion as a Christian, not have any paganism in it whatsoever. So they went over to America, and basically they tried to ban Christmas over there again. Now, this went on for nearly over 200 years. There was battling the paganistic element, what obviously came over with people as they was coming over to America, as it was in those days. And it got to a point, actually, in 1828, where in New York, they actually had to start the first police force, because it was getting so bad at the Christmas celebrations, raping and pillaging and disorder, drunkenness was just so bad. They had to create the police force to do this. Now, at this point, me looking at it from my bigger picture, I think this is a bit like the David Icke scenario, when you cause a problem, get the people to react and give them a solution. So basically, I think they took advantage of all this paganism, got it up into a frenzy, made the people shout out for order, law and order, and there you go, your first police force. First steps towards the police state of the world, maybe. You know, just my opinion, but it has to start somewhere, so why not there? So basically, now we're at the state where the battling, the public, the police now are saying no, we can't carry on like this. So coincidentally, or maybe not, Charles Dickens then came up with his creation, A Christmas Carol. Now, this Christmas Carol, as we know, we've seen all the films hundreds of times on Christmas Day. It's all a nice little fairy tale, this lovely sweet ending where a little old man goes from being a real Scrooge and goes out, buys a Christmas present, makes everyone happy. And what this did, especially in America, it got taken by storm basically. And so within the space of just under 50 years, it actually made it totally legal in all the states in America to have Christmas, because people had adopted this Charles Dickens tale as the meaning of Christmas and what it's all about, which then obviously took them away from the raping and the pillaging, and it took them on the way of a nice happy Christmas, which is obviously in the bigger picture for us in the normal, what I say normal society what we live in, but you know what I mean, the more civilised society, it is a better outcome. But it just goes to show the power of propaganda, power of a story, power of fiction to change the reality that we live in, to make it all as it is now. So really, you've got the Christmas celebrations have gone from the sadistic killing people, they've got it now to Christmas, more of the Christmas what we experience now. So at this point, I just wanted to sort of tell you a few more other points about Christmas and where they come from. Obviously, I've gone through the Yule log, as you know, because that was from the Scandinavian Norsemen, burning it for 12 days, sacrificing people. So that's where the Yule log comes from. But Christmas lights. Now, do you know where Christmas lights come from? Why do you decorate your tree? Why do you put Christmas lights inside of your house? Well, the one for the house comes from having an oil lamp in your front window to let the people know that you actually celebrate Yule and you're taking part in the rituals. Because if you wasn't taking part in the rituals of the Yule, in other words, sacrificing animals or people, you could have been the sacrifice. So you put a light in your window, and it tells everyone that I'm part of this. Leave me alone. So that's where the lights on your house come from. Anyway like that. As for the lights on a Christmas tree, well, that goes back to originally from the start of the story when I told you about Nimrod and how he got chopped up. Well, his mum, who became his wife as well, she said that his sort of spirit went into the trees, and the light, what you put around your trees, represents the spirit what's in the trees. Now, it could be the spirit of Nimrod, or it could be, as pagans, your average pagan believes in the spirit of in everything, in nature, which is fair enough. So the lights of that represent spirit. So you bring your chopping down your tree, you're fetching it into your house, and it's helping you to ward off evil spirits by the spirits what's inside your tree, and the lights on it represent that. So that's where that comes from. Then deck the halls with holly and all the greenery. That's from Saturn worship, basically, because what they believed is that the green vegetables, whatever you call flowers or whatever, they actually ward off the evil spirits. Now the mistletoe, that's a little bit more sinister, because that's supposed to have the power over women. So you get a woman under mistletoe and basically gives you the power to sexually abuse her. That's where it comes from. Obviously nowadays it's watered down to get somebody who you fancy at the office party under a bit of mistletoe and have a quick kiss. Once again, watered down, but that's where these meanings come from. That's what it means. Like with the Yuletide log, when you give them a Yuletide greetings, you're actually invoking the power, supposedly, of the Yule god over these people. Now, I'm not saying these Yule gods exist. I don't know. Who knows what's behind it all? But either way, it's nice to know what they are. Right, now I've got to that point. We need to really talk about Christmas, the sort of up-to-date version of Christmas like we've got now, where Santa Claus and on all that sort of point. Oh yeah, there's one more point I just wanted to say about the Christmas tree before I left that subject. That actually didn't get put into our sort of every house until Queen Victoria, believe it or not, actually had a picture taken, or it was an illustration in this, what's it called now? London Illustrated News, that's it. And a guy actually did an illustration of Queen Victoria and the tree in their house. Now, coincidentally or not, they're all from German origin, and that's where it came from, Germany, all this about the Christmas tree. And it wasn't until that was published in London Illustrated News, that they actually started doing that in England. And within 2 years, the entire everyone in England basically was using the Christmas tree, and until that point there wasn't. Now over in America, it got to the point where one in 5 homes by 1900 had a tree as well. So it shows you once again the power of, even in those days, 1900, of the media, of the paper, and also coincidentally royal family having something to do with it as well. I'm not going any further into that subject, but as we all know, they're not exactly what they appear to be. Right, I digress a little bit with that. Right, there's one more part of Christmas what we've not talked about, and it's a huge part what obviously we associate with Christmas, and that is Santa Claus, or Satan Claus, as I annoyingly like to call it, and my wife hates the term, but that's the way I call it, Satan Claus. Now, with Santa Claus, it's this is a very weird one, this one, because this is lots and lots of different traditions, all married up together, all hodgepodge together to make what we now consider a jolly old fat man coming to your house and giving you some presents for free. Now, where it actually started from, I believe, was a celebration of the hearth gods, and that's basically the hearth where you have the fire, so it's basically the fire gods. And in the olden days, you can imagine you need a fire to keep you warm, cook your food, keep you alive, basically, through the winter nights. So what this was a celebration of is the hearth god coming down the chimney and actually rewarding the people what's been good. Now that sounds quite familiar, doesn't it? Hearth, fire coming down, giving presents. That's one part of it. The part of Santa Claus going through the sky, travelling, that comes from Scandinavian, once again. That's their Scandinavian god Odin. Now, he was supposedly went through the sky, and he chose people to kill and chose people to spare. And to be quite frank, it was quite a terrifying time apparently in Scandinavia on the 25th of December, because they believed, like I said, some were going to die, some wasn't. Now, in England, we had a completely different figure at the time, somebody called Father Christmas, who went out and got drunk, and he had a horned goat that symbolises the rejection of Jesus Christ. So there, once again, you've got a complete opposite to what you expect Christmas Santa Claus to be about. A nice jolly man. This guy goes out and gets drunk, and he has a horned creature with him that symbolises the rejection of Jesus Christ. Now, quite strange really when you think about it, and that's not the end of it. In the Romans, they believe that St. Nicholas, he basically he conquered the devil. Now, St. Nicholas supposedly got the devil, chained him up, and he actually had him as a servant, and he took him around with him to people's houses on the 25th of December, and if you'd been good, you got presents. If you hadn't, it was a bit of a sadomasochist, this chained up devil. He used to whip the children, and if you'd been really bad, he'd put them in his sack, and he'd take you away, and you'd never be seen him again. So, once again, really, really nice character, as you can imagine. Now, this servant, he got known as Krampus, Beelzebub, or Black Pete, or Black Peter in I think it's Germany, where he comes from. So that one coincides with all those put together. Now, what he supposedly did, he came down the chimney and he gave the candy to the people who'd been good, right? And also, he chucked it down the chimney so he had to catch it. Now, in those days, you didn't have anything to use apart from the stockings, what they wore on the feet. So they used to hang the stockings on the hearth to catch the candy. What came down was being chucked down by this Black Peter, this sort of devil, chained up devil person from St. Nicholas. So that's exactly where all that came from. Now, as time went by, all these amalgamated into one character, basically. Now, the reason it really did this more than anything is there was a guy in 1822 called Clement Clark Moore. He actually wrote a short story, and then he retitled it Night Before Christmas. Now, this got published by the Troy Sentinel in New York with a picture of what we consider to be Santa Claus now. Nice, jolly, big, fat man in a big red suit. And once again, it's the power of the media. That became so popular, everyone just adopted, basically, this image as Santa Claus. So all those little aspects of the other traditions and myths all came together and amalgamated into this one thing, Santa Claus, that we know now. And by 1880, it was said at the time, this was by the Puritan priests, etc., that Santa Claus had replaced Jesus in the eyes of most of the children. And when you look at it like that, you know, is that the main reason behind it all? Is that why, let's say, the elite of the day manipulated all the events, all the stories to make it into one thing where children just want presents, basically, like they do now? And we all know, if you're unfortunate enough not to have a lot of money, how much misery it can cause when your children want the latest Xbox system, etc., etc., and you've got no money, get yourself in debt. This is all the sort of stuff what the elite loves. But I don't want to go too far into it, start ranting about that like I normally do. I just wanted to talk about the meaning of Christmas, where it comes from, and all the symbols and how it all came together. So I just wanted to educate you on that, and I hope I have. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to leave me a message on the bottom of wherever you're seeing this, if it's on YouTube, if it's on Blog Talk Radio, whatever, and I'll get back to you. After saying all that, I do wish you a Merry Christmas, and I mean it in the spirit of just going with your family and friends, getting together, sharing some love, and putting that love out to everyone else you meet. Have a smile on your face. Maybe some of the food what you've got, go and give it to a food bank. Go and help some families out there that haven't got enough food to feed them because of the economy as it is and the way it's run by the elite to crush everyone. So do some good for Christmas that way. Me and my wife intend next year to actually be working in a soup kitchen type of environment and actually cooking some food for the homeless. I'm gradually, slowly but surely, getting my wife to turn away from the materialistic Christmas and get her more into my way of thinking, but she'll say it's her idea, but anyway, I better not say any more about that, I'll be getting a slap. So I'd just like to say thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.